currently over here in each one of these. This is the only, they have this, and then there is some small accessory structures here in front of the stable.
Out here in to the north there.
Here, there's no stalls there. No.
I see shadows of horses out there.
Yeah, there's not stalls.
I didn't have any stalls or any coverage for them out there. Local shed, I guess.
Oh, right, yeah. Good.
Any questions for Nathan Council as well?
So I received an email and it stated that there was concerns about runoff of the creek, but I also heard that the creek is dry. But
It's not in the floodplain. This is the area that they, I believe, that was brought up during the planning commission. This area here to the west.
There's a pond to the west of this, if I recall. It just runs off into is that correct on the area? Well, if you look at that pond dam is to the east side of the property, so that would mean that the runoff is coming from the north and the west. The ponds are coming down that way. This is the dam on the west side or the east side of the pond.
the dam on which side? Okay, yes. I did speak with someone today, and they said that the creek and the ponds are dry, so I just was trying to confirm that. It's always dry, but I don't know if that means always going to be.
Well, this probably shows it's dry.
There's not something that usually won't dry.
Yeah. Only when it rains.
Water is needed.
Only when it rains, it's going to get any water in it.
Yeah, the email asked about a DEQ study because of that runoff. That was necessary.
We would not have a requirement for that.
Okay.
And I don't believe a DEQ would have the requirement unless it was a huge agricultural operation like wrong.
Unless it becomes a Indian case of nothing, which is one of these American prepared and then you can above.
The applicant is here as well.
This time we'll open it up for public comment on this agenda item. Anybody that is a particular speaker might be to remind them that they must state the name and address for the record, must speak only from the podium. We give one opportunity to speak, and there will be a 3 to 5 minute time period for every speaker. So, we'll now open this up for public comment.
Hello, Jeff Lambert, 2247 Mulberry. Some of the things that Janae said weren't quite accurate. They're close. The thing that bothered me was even a couple of 3 years ago, I made a complaint about the flies and the smell. I do know that the horse owners do clean up the manure. to their credit, and I appreciate that. But what they don't claim is the urine. I've had horses myself. My dad and I had a bunch of thoroughbreds, but we had a large area of land. We had 40 acres, not like 6 thoroughbreds. Anyway, there's no vegetation there, and the stench of urine is ridiculous. It's really bad. It's not just a horse smell, something that you might have for horses. It's a really bad stench, and that attracts the flies like crazy. I've been concerned about that. I did bring that up at the first council meeting, I guess a month or two ago. So flies are really bad. That's a health hazard, and not everyone is affected, but because of the way it pans out and kind of dissipates, some more to the west and more to the east aren't that affected. But I did speak to a lady on Blackberry there in the cul-de-sac, and she got a lot of flies. You know, she noticed a lot the past few years. She was quick to sign that. Some of the other ones that I did speak to, they were not on the list, but the council sent out, or the city sent out, that's, 400 feet out, and they were having fly problems as well. But, I couldn't get them to sign the petition because they weren't listed on it. But my biggest problem is the stench and the flies that it brings, that fills my garage up, that fills my patio up, and I kind of had enough of it. So I did speak the last couple of weeks to an attorney in Purcell and one in Warren. They both said that I could get a loss of enjoyment, I think, out of it. And one of them said, yeah, it depends on how it goes. They may test the line. I don't know. But come this spring and summer, if it's bad, they haven't done anything about that. Yeah, I'll pursue legal action against it. There's no doubt about that. Because I will be probably retiring here in the next 3 years or so, and there's no way I'll be able to sell a house with that stench the way it is now. I can't sit out in that patio. I've had to buy a bunch of fly traps and put it all along the fence. My new neighbors have complained about it, and none of that was here when I moved in 17 years ago. And had I known there was going to be, somebody put a bunch of horses where there's a stench, I would have never bought the property. But I thought, well, it's agriculture; they can do what they want. But reducing the amount of land where horses can get on there that much, I feel it's extensive and it's excessive. It's just too much. Maybe we can reach a compromise of some kind. I'm not saying, hey, verbatim, you got to stick by these rules. Maybe they can keep a certain amount of horses, maybe a lesser amount, split the difference. I'm all for that. I'm all for them roping. None of that bothers me. But the flies and the stench, to me, are a health hazard. And I just can't enjoy the carpet. I can barely even I have to run to the back door in the garage to try to keep all the flies out from coming in. When I do open that door, it's ridiculous. And my neighbors on both sides are having the same issue. And when you fan out, more to the east or west, it's not that much more problematic, apparently. Somebody on one of the other streets did complain. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. So it's mostly just the stench and the flies.
Where are you at? Like, within check that map.
So the property is right here. I am right here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my property that abuts the fence. It all comes over here. They get a lot of it. They get a lot of it for sure. I spoke with them. Our new neighbors here get a lot of it. And the lady over here in this other street, she was the only one on that particular street that was, like I say, was on the list, and she signed it for regular. They didn't like the fly problem with it. But I don't care how many horses they want to put on there, as long as they can abate the urine smell and the horse stench. And I used to live out in the country. It didn't really bother me too much, but on many days it's really bad. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Jeff Begley at 2210 South Side of 76. And I live, if I can map, I'm right out here. And so, like the other Jeff was saying, the wind really comes from the south and north, so it hits him more directly. We occasionally get it. And you can tell from the map that the 5 acres, maybe that best 3 of it is where the horses and the cows are. So it's pretty high density. 17 large animals in that lights, the main lights, I guess were fixed. The one that I complained about when we were having the lights on the west side of their barn, does not seem to have been improved at all. But the amount of time that it's on has reduced a lot, which I appreciate, and that may just be a seasonal thing. I don't know, but it's just my 2 cents on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Alicia Allen, and I'm at 2325 Ross Drive. And all of this kind of started back in June, whenever they installed the big lights that were directed directly at the back of my house, like spotlights. I tried having a conversation with her, and she told me to go buy black curtains, which is how we ended up in the city. Asking you guys to take care of it. The lights have been moved down, and they do. I can see an improvement in that, but my concern is, over the years, I've had multiple neighbors come to me and ask if there's anything that could be done at all with the amount of large animals that are on this property due to the smell. We're on a private road. Is there anything that the city is planning on doing to help us with maintenance on a private road, because there's a large amount of traffic that's coming up and down our road due to them, with the dumpster being dumped, with the brush trailers being hauled in and out?
No, we do not do anything on private road.
With them approving this, is there anything that you guys could do to help us out on that, because they don't pitch in to help maintain it?
We cannot provide any city resources to private space.
Are you guys going to take into consideration the 14 neighbors that have said that all that's being done, they don't want it?
We're taking into consideration all the factors. Any additional public comment for this agenda item? All right, okay.
Good evening, my name is Angelica Gill, I'm at 2251 South Lost Drive. They brought up about the lights, which we did take care of that. The runoff, I mean, I don't have control of the runoff. Like I said, my manure's being picked up every week. The dirt, I mean, there's nothing I can do there because the wind goes where it goes, and I can't stop that. And I've been doing everything that I was asked for. It's just one thing after the other. I mean, I've been there for 10 years, and after 10 years, now is when the flies come up, when the manure problem is, when we've been taking care of the fly problem, the manure. Now it's the dirt, the road, which, I mean, if I'm trying to help and have everything clean for my property and for my neighbors, now is the dumpster coming and picking up my manure, then how am I going to clean if the truck can come in, or can I take my horses out when I need to go, my daughter team rope, when we have to take them to the vet? I mean, I don't know what else to say or what else to do. At this point, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just, this is my property, and I maintain it for me and for my neighbors. The uncontrol of the flies, I don't understand, because we barbecue outside. We don't have the problem. I don't understand. Honestly, I could invite you guys to come out when we're doing the barbecue and see how many flies. That could be May, June, July. And we don't have that problem. I don't understand. Honestly, I would like to know why this has gone so bad and personal. I mean, it's been a lot of rains in 10 years, and this is the first time they bring up the runoff in 10 years. in 10 years is the first problem with flies. Everything just, I don't know if, Mrs. Allen is a lawyer or something that everybody comes to her. I think if I have any problem with anybody, I would come to you guys to resolve it, and not trying to, have conflict with, my neighbor, because I never had. This is honestly the first time I've been here with any neighbor.
Ms. Gill, if this were to be approved, would your intention be to keep both of the horses inside in the stalls, or would the intention to have them out in the lots out on the property?
This is what you guys just had, because I got rid of a lot of my animals. I don't know what else to give up.
Okay.
My daughter team ropes, my husband team ropes. I mean, then where is my home? I don't know. I don't have where to put my horses at. I would really appreciate if you guys take this into consideration, because I'm in ag property. I'm not disrespecting anybody, but I just want to be respected and, have my animals like everybody does.
Okay. Oh, one other question.
Yes.
In regards to the light that's on the back side of the building that's shining,
That light, we only turn it on at night when it's darker. Like, I wanted to show you a video, and I did show Mr. Kevin here, and I wanted you guys to see this video, and I pass it. Yeah.
sure.
And you can see where the box is. So they come out, and when they come out to the other side, and it's completely dark. That's what I wanted them to see, that we have to turn on the back light when they're practicing, because that's the only light that helps them see a little bit better, because it only lights half of the arena.
So is that light on when you're not practicing?
That light is just on only when they're not practicing. That light is turned on to feed the horses that are outside.
During feed time?
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely.
I'm not an expert, so I'm asking a question.
Don't ask too much, because I'm not.
So,
I don't know a lot.
So if there's a mirror control, they pick it up, what, do you like turn over the dirt or something to contain what you're installing? Is there something?
Yeah. I mean, when they do go out and clean and pick up the maneuver outside, it's completely dry because of dirt.
Right.
So it's not like something that, if it was inside the stall and you leave the urine there for days or whatever, then you have a smell. Mr. Kevin was out there. He was in the stalls when the horses are in there, when the horses are not in there.
So that's like when people clean stalls, they don't just clean out the poop, they clean out and scrape up
the urine. Yes.
Okay. So that's part of that same control.
Yeah, because we actually have a like a semi box. So that is just all kind of like wood chip, different than we have. That's more like a pint. It's a little bit more expensive, but it controls, I could say, 95% of that urine smell.
That controls it inside the.
Yeah, and the outside, when they pick up, the horses don't be just the one side.
Right.
They could be on that side or they could be on this side. It's not like they have a special spot. And honestly, when we go over there and pick up the maneuver, everything is dry.
And then in the little outside, I don't know if they're not called patios outside, what they call all those little fenced-in areas, that dirt's turned over regularly when you're working it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I really don't know much about this.
You only work the urine portion, you don't work the other part, do you?
Right.
You work all the other parts as well?
Yes. Okay. We have a tractor to pick all that up. So.
Okay. That's what we do have to
Turning over the arena area, I assume, for to be able to put the horses to get
attraction and all that. But what about on the other areas? Are they turning those areas over?
The arena is being like swept, so they'll work the arena when they're gonna work the horses. But the other stalls, when there's horses out there, we do pick up, especially because they pick up on Thursdays. They pick up the maneuver on Thursday. We have 2 big containers for the maneuver, and we also have 2 containers that we have from the city for our personal for the home.
I'm just curious on debating the urine issue.
I know, and like I said, I've been there for 10 years.
I just didn't know if y'all are rotating the ground.
He does, my dad does, yes.
He does like, and like right now, there's no horses on the other paddocks, but there are more on these 2 paddocks over here, close to the roping arena. That's where we have 2 horses there. And usually when they go out and clean when he goes out and cleans the stalls, goes out and feeds and picks up for the horses out there. And like I said, we've been there for 10 years. And the runoff, I mean, this is the first time, but there's, honestly, I don't have control there.
No, you don't. I mean,
but I do have control picking up the maneuver and keeping it clean.
I mean, I could see silt flowing downstream. I mean, on natural ground part.
Okay, just to throw this out there, but if they're scraping, I don't know what the word is, scraping it, I don't know, so bad, I'm such a city girl. Then if you have runoff, though, it's been minimized by picking it up or drying it and picking up whatever is there. I mean, is that not what would be expected of someone, so that you don't run off? Although sometimes you consider that fertilizer, but I understand you don't want massive amounts of it going off into the, so if they're picking up regularly out there, then that's minimizing the amount that there is a runoff, right? It's very, I'm just saying.
It definitely is. I mean, I grew up in the ranch operation. Our farm headquarters was located on 5 acres. We had, all the while I was growing up, 15, 20 horses alone on the property. A lot of them were in stables, a lot of them were not. And, you know, we raced, we had a larger farming operation. I mean, we didn't experience anything at that point in time, and we didn't all often either. You know, we gathered up and we spread it on other places. We sold it to people. We composted it on site. And we didn't have major issues with any of this. And I understand it's very close to a housing addition. However, it is ag zone, and ag zones has a great deal of freedom in this community. Ag community, and still a lot of people that drive there, they're living from ag. So, you know, I guess that's where I struggle. I grew up on a farm very serious, similar to this.
And I will never take advantage of that. I mean, of that freedom that there is for us ag people. I mean, we don't take it. I don't take advantage. We don't take advantage. Not because we're free to do. We want to keep it clean and have our horses well fed and the place well cleaned. I mean,
any other questions from the field?
No, that's what I wanted to ask.
Okay. That was good. Yeah, thank you. At this time, we'll close public comments for this agenda item. And so, any additional questions for city staff?
I spoke with 2 different veterinarians, and they all wasn't opposed to it, but they weren't agreed to it as well. And these weren't veterinarians not from my community, but outside our community. That weren't somebody's opinion, it wasn't inside the capital. And the veterinarians I spoke with are race horses, they are breeders of horses. And they were more worried about conditions urine was another big thing. And the exercise for the horses, to make sure they got. Now, I know that's also on the opposite of the horses, but on the exercising part. I know we've had in the past some folks that overdone the animal on a 5-acre tract. And I know this is ag. I grew up on the farm. I grew up on 140 acres. And I get it. I had show steers and calves up lots and lots, and we constantly kept them clean, keep the foothill. I get the urine smell, because we had the same issue. But I'm just worried that, if we do pass this, then what's the next issue that we come up with? We're going to have somebody who has 15 show calves that want to keep them all right in one area. Do we have a hog farm? I mean, I know we have a restriction right now on hogs. Why? Do they have 50 goats on the place because they can feed them? I mean, these are the questions that I have to ask myself.
I can answer that question for you, because this only pertains to horses.
Exactly.
This is only horses, not.
Well, horses and steers, apparently.
Well, the steers take up the rest of the remaining lot area after you extract the 600 square feet per animal for the horses, and then the remaining lot area is what's used to calculate for the steers, the 7 steers. So if somebody says, I have a goat farm, that this UPOR is for confined, stable, for care of horses, is only for horses. Somebody couldn't come to us and say, well, I've got 40 goats and 5 acres and I want to do a stable. It doesn't fit the requirements of the ordinance. That's all I wanted to add to that.
How many horses and how many steers are we talking on the property?
10 horses and 7 steers.
A lot of animals.
The UPOR allows us, kind of like, I don't like to put it into comparison, but like with the PUD, can we specify some things in there?
Yes.
Because one thought was, kind of along Mike's line is, well, what if then the next person moves in there and does something, really they're not doing or whatever? Does this apply just to this owner for this property while they live there, or can we specify and say that it only applies to them? That way, if it would be sold or something, that person, the next person would need to come in and apply for a new UPOR. Are we allowed to do that?
2 things you could do that. So the UPOR goes with the property. So if they sell it, it stays, that UPOR stays with that property.
Okay.
Just like we've done for kennels. When somebody has a kennel and somebody else buys that property, they're allowed to operate underneath that UPOR. You could do a stipulation of saying that if the property is sold, that the new owner has to sign an agreement that they're going to follow the stipulations of the current UPOR.
Okay. So if they wanted to change anything, they would have to apply for a new UPOR.
Yeah, if they wanted to add anything or if they wanted to increase the stables. I don't see it going above staff making recommendation more than this request. That's the 600 square feet for the dry stall per animal for the horses. That gives you 6,000 for the horses, and then the remainder of the lot area is what's used to calculate for the cow, allowing 7.
And I realize it was probably an R2 district. Is that what suburban safety is?
E2.
There was a little girl that had one goat, but when she ended up having to take it off because
Was there's not, livestock is only allowed in ag and E1, not in E2. And there wouldn't be a UPR or a mechanism for that allowance under the, in that zone definition.
I'm just trying to figure out what gate we're gonna open up, you know.
Right. So this
One
is,
thing between that is, you know, and I understand it's a lot of close to animals. So I'll just give you an example. You know, 2003 we had an area operation where we had 1,000 acres it was located on, but our milking herd, which was 290 to 300 cows, were all located on 5 acres. And that was, you know, they were dry loaded there, and so all, you know, that's a lot of animals on 5 acres. Now, we had 1,000 other acres there, but our milk cows, while they were lactating, were only on 5 acres. With that, there was some play issues, and that was pretty
what
hard.
did you say, 250?
About 290 to 300. But
How many we own 5 acres at a time?
290. So we had about 500 total cows, and that's normal. That's a normal dairy operation. That's a normal ag operation. I mean, ag, that's what I do for a living. I make loans. I deal with ag. That is not abnormal at all. What's abnormal is when you have a lot of encroachment from housing in ag areas, and that's where it becomes difficult. Now, there were people that had houses across the street from our dairy.
But they moved in after
The dairy was there in the 1930s and had been there ever since. And so, you know, I understand. I've been around a lot of ag. I've been around a lot of horses. I've never seen with 10 horses and with the potential of the vast majority of them being kennel or stable, sorry, not kennel. You know, I've never seen a remarkable amount of off-site issues with that number of animals in this manner. Now, not to say it can't happen, but you know, the management they're doing most of the time, you don't have people that are pulling mirror off 5 acres. You just don't. That is not typical. You have them if it's coming out of stall, yes, but to clean off the pasture area, no. On a horse operation like this, so
Let me ask this question to the owner. Do y'all allow other people to use the lots and stuff?
I'm sorry, who's that?
Do you allow other riders or rodeo folks to come out and
It's very rare that our friend comes out and because he's a healer, my daughter and my husband own our headers, he's a healer, so he'll come out and help them. But not really. I mean, it's just once in a long time. The one that helps him is my son-in-law, which he's a header and a healer. He'll help my husband and my daughter when we practice. But there's not like a ton of people coming in or making noise and yelling, none of that. So, but your question was if somebody else comes in, it's one friend of ours that comes out once in a while. So.
I mean, I'm just asking that about traffic, trying to get that out of traffic.
So let me clarify. So right now, we have 7 or 8 of those numbers paddocks, but it's saying Janae, so you have 7 right now or 8? How many paddocks do you have right now?
The stalls are 7 stalls.
Okay, and but Janae is saying according to the
horses, you mean?
Well, I don't know, that's my
Okay,
question.
I just wanted to know what you were asking.
Yeah,
I do have 7
I don't know what
stalls.
I'm asking.
I'm sorry, I only have 7 stalls, and then we have the paddocks outside.
I don't know, stalls versus.
So we have stalls and then have it.
And based on the 70,000 square feet per horse, that will allow them to have 3 horses on the property.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, so when we consider this, are we considering, oh, no, I'm confused now. Well, I know it now, I know that you said stalls and paddock, but the number 10 comes from stalls, or the number 10 allowed in stalls, or the number 10 comes with,
I don't know if it's
10 total horses,
10 total horses in
based
the
on
property.
600 square foot stalls?
not based on 600 square foot per.
Right.
Okay.
The stalls aren't 600 square feet.
No, okay. Sorry. Told you I'm trying hard. Okay. Okay. So I guess what my question has been, you have facilities that are already built to service those 10. You don't have to build or add anything. You don't have the 10. It just passes. You've already got everything in place.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I think that was my question. Sorry. It's awkward, but that's what I meant.
You got that.
Kind of like in line with what you were saying as far as like upkeep of acreage whenever you have farm or ag and you're not removing manure and doing all the stuff. It does seem like they are doing a lot of things to help make it a better environment for everyone. They're doing a lot of things that I don't know that would normally be done, which I think is good.
That's something I thought of today. You've already been doing the manure removal and everything
For 10 years, I mean, ever since we got there, we got the horses, and that's why it just kind of like shocks me with the problem with the flies, the problem with the runoff, because we've been taking care of all this. In 10 years, this is the first time they come up with a fly problem. We've been having this, when we used to live in Blanchard, we bought that when we moved to this property, the fumigation for the flies. So like I said, at my house, it's not like my house is full of flies, because it's not. So that's what just kind of concerns me when my neighbors are with the problem with the flies, when we've been having all this under control.
Why is she right now?
I can't count them, sorry.
Get a camper too.
I can't tell them not to go anywhere, they go wherever they want. So,
Well, there ain't no fire issue.
yeah.
With the proposed UPOR, is there a Janae? What stipulations did the planning commission put on there other than the number of animals? Were there stipulations of fly control and maintenance of the manure?
The ones, the other improvements, the weekly off-site manure removal, the automatic fly spray, and they have the walking carousel that's already there, the individual paddocks, and then that was, I don't believe there were any additional stipulations. One stipulation that you could add would be that suggestion that I made regarding that if the property is sold, that the new owner has to adhere to the current UPOR conditions. So the number of horses, the stalls, the area that is now the paddocks, that they'd have to adhere to that. That would be one suggestion that I would have. Like they couldn't minimize or add additional horses or additional cattle without, before.
Yeah, I like
don't follow this, they're not picking up the manure and getting it taken off site, or they have additional livestock bringing, we would cite them just a code violation regarding the UPO law. They have the opportunity to come into compliance, or they would be cited and it would become city property.
And then at that point, you are to be removed.
That's correct. And that would be at council's discretion. And I will say again that, this UPR under the agriculture district is only for lot areas that are 10 acres or less. To me, that was put into place in this district for people that have the minimum 5 acres or up to 10 acres. I can't come in here and have a 40-acre parcel and ask for a stable. Because it doesn't meet the criteria for the UPOR. So to minimize you couldn't have excess horses on a 40-acre lot. You have to meet the conditional use of the 70,000 square feet for a horse on larger acreage.
The more horses on, theoretically speaking, I just understand.
That's
You
why
can have more horses on
designed.
5 acres than you can on 40.
It's designed for the 10 acres or less. Well, for the stable, and having the dry lot. So you have to have all these other conditions to qualify for that.
I'll make a motion to approve, development under the 6A.
You want to add the additional statement for property is sold.
Yeah, so with the conditions put in by planning and zoning, plus the additional condition that any new future owners would need to sign agreement upon purchase that they will agree to follow the UPR as written.
A second.
Motion second for approval of item number 6A with conditions.
Like Florida?
Won't be no vote.
Until we said, yes. I do like that. Right.
Yes. Item number 6B, discussion possible action on planning commission recommendation for approval of replat of the final plat of Clean Energy Block 4 Block 1. So question I had. The purpose is we have to have Item 6B, discussion possible action on planning commission recommendation for approval of replat classified as Clean Energy Block 4 Block 1.
This item is a request for a replat of the final plat of Clean North State Block 4 Block 1. Just a little bit of background. This is for the owners, Eddie and Emily Estes, and they applied for a building permit in October for an accessory structure. You can see on the screen, this is the replat of the final plat. They are on a corner lot. The front is on Glenor, and the side is on Southeast 5th Street. There's a limit of no access that wraps from the corner around their side lot. When they applied for the building permit, they also for an accessory structure. They wanted to access, the, the accessory structure off of Fifth Street. Due to the limits and no access on that, they cannot have a drive approach off of Southeast Fifth Street. So after discussion, staff came to the conclusion that a way to achieve the access would be the removal of the limits of no access off Southeast Fifth Street. That can't be taken care of by any other mechanism other than going to vacate through district court, or you do a replat of that final plat since they are the sole owner of that lot. We directed them to do that replat in the final plat and remove that limits of no access. Basically, that's the overall story behind this request, is that to remove that so that they can have access off of Southeast Fifth. They meet the minimum lot area requirements for the E3 district, which in E3 you are allowed to have a secondary drive meeting the side setback. Their request meets that. Their drainage is stormwater runoff contained with existing bar ditch. They have on-site sanitary sewer. There's an existing water line on Southeast Fifth Street, and then the access will be allowed off of Southeast Fifth with the approval of this plat. I'm happy to answer any questions. The applicant is here as well.
I've talked to the applicant multiple times on this. The lot's very narrow, teeny lot, so that limits no access. It was only put on there basically to show that if somebody was coming off Fifth Street, there would not be having setback to building or dwelling coming in that direction. So because the lot is so long and narrow, but for the accessory building, it makes all sense in the world to come off of Fifth Street. It's not a safety issue. Across the road from us, there are 3 driveways on the south side that enter to 2 different houses. So, not a safety issue at all. It was just a matter of the fact that that lot was so narrow north to south that it would facilitate putting a residential structure with entrance off of Fifth Street, but it serves perfectly fine for accessory structures coming off Fifth. So.
We got a shooter for it to pull a driveway off this street, while our house is off of,
Correct, so that they don't have to go make a long driveway coming off of Linear to get back to their accessory building.
yeah.
A lot shorter shot, and makes a lot more sense.
Makes sense to me on that one.
Entertain a motion then.
Motion to approve item 16.
Second.
Motion second for approval on item 16.
Mike Muller,
Yes.
Evan Sutton, yes, Nancy White, yes, Carl Nell.
Yes. Number 7, discussion of possible action on adopting resolution number 2014-19, adopting the ACOG Regional Safety Action Plan for state streets and roads, and adopting a Vision Zero policy for goal elimination of traffic deaths and serious injury by the year 2050, and to enable the city of Newcastle to apply for NPWA SS4 implementation funding for safe streets and roads.
Let's do it.
Basically, I served on part of the committee when they were going through creating this plan. So Kimley Horn, traffic engineering, planning, and design consultants were hired by ACOG in January of 2024 to develop this regional safety action plan, and they adopted it in November of 2024. Basically, the overall arching goal and what drove this was that all people deserve to live without the devastating effects of severe injuries and fatal crashes in our region. And so this regional safety action plan aims to promote the culture of safety by implementing these policies and educating and engaging the public and improving infrastructure to create safer road networks for everyone. So they basically analyzed crash rate corridors and analyze the existing conditions of those those roads, what improvements could be made, and then implementation measures to reduce crashes. And Vision Zero is an initiative that aims to create transportation network with zero traffic fatalities and severe injuries. And as you stated, this allows us to apply for federal funding by adopting this action plan. Some of the things that local governments can do and some of the strategies is reducing speed limits, some things that the council and our city manager has guided us to do is reducing the speed limit, doing the striping on our roads, looking at pedestrian safety measures, traffic signage, and public safety signage. And that by adopting this can hopefully open us up for more grant opportunities and federal funding.
Do they like evaluate all of our city streets?
They did several different regions, and so for Newcastle, it was the Highway 9 I-35 interchange that goes right there where they're doing the work that ODOT is doing right now in front of the Riverwind Casino. Some of the things that they suggested for our corridor, Riverwind to have a right-in, right-out, reducing the amount of entrances off of Highway 9. Same thing across the street, in which they're actually implementing some of this right now with the new interchange. Thank you.
We need to do the, we have some state highways and state intersections. Will that be able to come into play to help us with some of those?
I believe so, and I think that there's things that, you know, a lot of the discussions were, well, how we can get people, the distracted driving. You know, if you're going to implement something to where, you know, you're willing to ticket people for texting and driving, putting in signage for public safety, remember the not texting signs,
Gotcha.
things like
We
that.
did this on every
Where you have in your local community where you have high incidences of crashes at certain intersections, to put in signage, things that I know that, you know, have police cars with that are potentially police dummies, or having somebody patrol that area more heavily.
Yeah. Training you might be a good thing. I'm trainable. I led foot is training.
Well, I'll look at that side.
Motion to approve item 7. Second.
Motion second, to approve item number 7.
Mike Fullerton,
Yes.
Kimberly Sutton,
Yes.
Roger White, yes, Carl Ness.
Item number 8, discussion of possible action on approval of the Northwest 24th Street widening project from North Country Club Road to 400 feet west of Bypass Road, and approval of proposal for civil and environmental consultant for professional engineering services.
Staff recommends the approval of the engineering services from CEC, cost of roughly $238,500. And this will get us ready, hopefully, it will coordinate with OTA when they begin the bridge work on the overpass of 24th, and be able to allow us to tie in 24th at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Now, we did actually work with OTA, and we did have the part of their engineering group that's doing the engineering of the overpass take a look at this, give us a bid on it, and they were significantly higher
Oh.
than CPC. So, you know, I'm confident that CPC can tie into what McCarthy is doing there, but it makes no sense for us to save this amount of money and again. So
They have actually been in contact with MacArthur already, just to let them know that, you know, so, and CEC is the firm that is engineering the country club. They're working on 100% plans now, so,
Right.
right.
What's up the timeline on that one?
phase 1.
Yeah, that's really it.
So as far as you tell me exactly when they're going to start.
I mean, are they simultaneous to going across the river? Like, are they all just jumping on one head first, or are they going to go across the river first and jump on the bridge?
what they've told us is they will be doing, starting with those things that are not cooperative agreements with ODOT. Because the environmental requirements you want federal funds with ODOT require for NEPA, and that will take a little longer. So they anticipate that we'll start on things like the bridge on the river, and potentially this prior to the interchange at 37 and 44.
It's on that river bridge, because we doesn't interfere with our traffic while we're building it. It's the best part. Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
You can always complain when the time comes, okay?
So the acres less I have to run my cattle on, they can come out there and tell me I got too many cattle.
Right?
You're over that 48 for 10 acres.
5 acres.
You think back down to 5?
Wow. Well, I'm excited. I'm not excited for the new little bridge, but I'm excited for the new little bridge.
I'm super excited for that bridge. That is a
You're
thing.
not going to have to rattle around it every day.
Can we get 16th Street? I mean, Country Club Bridge?
I know. Is there any help for that one?
We're
Working on it?
working on this stuff.
Is there another route? No, it's through another route, might pay that
I
one,
actually told Fairfax Authority that if you're not having to spend money on Sunny Grove Development, they can just go ahead and open that bridge or Country Club, and
right?
they kind of giggle.
We'll see if that one happens or not. I'm not sure they won't.
Eventually, we'll get it done. We're looking at all avenues for funding
Yeah.
and cooperative agreements to potentially get that done. So, it will get done, but there's nothing.
My car says they wanted to climb it.
Yeah, just getting that 24th Street Bridge and getting that widened, and in discussions, more than likely when we do the 24th Street, we'll probably go ahead and do the Country Club 24th interchange, correct?
Yes.
So we'll do that, and probably financially we'll probably have to do that before we do Country Club up to 37. But we'll go ahead and 4-lane that interchange at Country Club and 24th to open that all up, because right now trucks can't seem to make it with that.
Sometimes Marcy doesn't hear.
Well,
There is stretch marks on that.
Those are mine. Oops, still Jeff.
so anyway, I guess that's more than what the motion is, to let you know where we're at.
I drove across that one bridge the other day for this car, and I was going, hitting the side of the bridge, scratching their way down. So now we need new bridges.
Did we get one on this yet?
Motion. I make a motion for denied at 8.
Second.
Motion second for approval, item number 8.
Like Paul,
Yes.
and Marley said, yeah. Marcy, what? Yeah. Okay.
Item number 9, discussion of possible action on choice of opioid abatement strategies for opioids and remediation enforcement. The list of remediation uses in Exhibit B of the Global Distributor Settlement Agreement and expenditure settlement funds consistent with certain purposes defined in the political subdivision opioid abatement grant act.
The list of things that this could be used for grant funds was included in your packets. I would recommend just continued training for first responders, because they see this all the time. There's also one area in here that actually deals with fentanyl specifically.
Yeah.
I know that they've had training as far as using Narcan and things like that. And we even carry Narcan. Which I believe you can also purchase Narcan with this money. Excuse me. But I don't know that they've had specific training. I know they've had some, but not specific training as far as dealing with fentanyl and what that looks like, what the bad things that can happen if you even inhale a little bit of it. So,
I have a friend who works in the federal prison here, and he said a coworker out in California just barely touched it and just dropped dead. So our people need to train. Like, it's very, very important. Yeah. So everyone needs to put that in front of each other.
Question on the Narcan itself. Does it have a shelf life?
I would imagine it does.
I think it does, yeah. I think it does, but I think they have been supplied by McLean Grady.
they need more Narcan, I believe they get supplied from McLean Brady, so.
And, you know, we had to cycle it, what's it costing us to change
And
that?
I'm not real sure what the shelf life is, and I've been out of it too long, I'm not really sure what it is these days. I would recommend anything that has to do with training of first responders
Yeah. For sure.
and equipment purchases if possible. I did not see equipment first.
I'll make that motion for approval of item number 9 for, utilizing the funds for training of personnel and purchase of equipment if that is possible and has been authorized.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item number 9.
Paulson.
Yes.
Kimberly said. Yes. Marcy White. Yes. Carl.
Yes. Item number 10, discussion of possible action to adopt resolution number 2024-20 for notice of nonpartisan engineering election to be held at April 1, 2025 for election of council members for the city of Newcastle residing in Ward 1, Ward 3, and Ward 4, and for the election of a council member residing at large in the city of Newcastle.
So there are a few of you coming up for re-election. April 1st is the election day. I believe the filing period was 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Is that correct, Camille?
Yes, it is.
February.
And that is in your packet. It is
For you all.
That's correct.
I don't know if you know that.
Fine with operation.
All right. Got a motion on number 10?
Motion to agenda item 10.
Second?
Motion second for approval of item number 10.
Mike Paulson.
Yes.
Kimberly said. Yes. Marcy White. Carl.
Yes. Item number 11, city manager's comments.
Just to let you know, we've had a couple of, 2 separate times, we've had some issues with the drain lines with the new animal shelter. The sewer drains that are actually outside the building, nothing within the building, but it's the catch basin basically outside the building where there's a screen that catches any kind of air that comes out of the drains, and then of course it goes through that and then goes into the actual sewer main. Well, it has stopped up so bad this second time around that it actually backed up inside the kennels in one of the areas in the building. And we have a meeting Wednesday with Guernsey Engineering and also Manholes. And I think maybe the plumber is coming as well. Is that? Okay. Because in my opinion, it appears that maybe the design that was created, engineered there for that may not be exactly a good and workable solution. So we're going to take a look at that, and we haven't seen it ourselves. Some of the sewer employees, guys that work at the sewer plant, they were running they were trying to flush it through the main, starting at the manhole west of the animal shelter, pushing it back, trying to flush it, and they only got so far because they said the pipe reduced in the ground. And apparently what we've been told is that pipe may have reduced twice, going from an 8-inch, 6-inch to 4-inch. If that's the case, then absolutely we're going to have a problem. But we'll have to find out if that's actually what took place. And I mean, it's been such a short period of time.
Right.
If that is the problem, we're actually going to work to make them fix it.
Yeah.
Get fixed right.
Was it engineered to reduce even? We gotta look at that.
We got to look at it. Yeah, I haven't looked at those plans. This just happened on Friday.
Yeah.
Happened Thursday. So I haven't looked at the plans yet.
So it's got orange.
4-inch coming out of the building, turns to the west and goes through the screen and the catch basin there, and then goes 4 inches fence goes from there for about another 25 feet or 30, and then supposedly goes to 6, and then goes to 8. And the manhole is within 300 feet of the building, as required.
Those are the big 6 or 8 that will go out.
Well, I think it needs to go 6 or 8 as soon as it comes out of that catch basin,
Yeah, yeah.
but we'll see.
We're only really giving that one outlet.
Right. That's all I have.
Alrighty. Number 12, Councilmember's comments.
I have a question, and for the second time tonight, I will say, it's an educated question, so it's not very sophisticated, try to follow me. Kevin, I think you might know. I got a question from someone about insurance, homeowners insurance going up because the city or someone, I don't know who, has deemed areas, wildfire designation possibility areas, like, I don't know, I've never heard of it. Does the city have anything to do with, who would be doing that? Like, I don't know. And I was like, safety, but I don't see like, I don't see like Donnie getting to go out and be on
No,
fire hazard. That's fire hazard. I said, I've never heard of such a thing, but I can,
they are wildland, interurban facing, where they meet together. I can't remember the exact term for that now. It's wildland, interurban, something.
Got it. That's exactly it.
who,
Yeah.
like,
That's
who's
exactly
the,
it.
So it's basically where a housing addition is built next to a pasture. We don't designate that.
who does that?
I'm not sure. Our ISO ratings are not based on wildland fires. They're based on commercial structures and how much water we can provide, and how far away the fire department is from that structure. Manpower, engines, things of that
Yeah.
nature. ISO does not rate a city based on wildland fires.
Okay, so it's not ISO.
I think it sounds to me like it's an insurance issue.
The insurance company probably does.
Yep,
Okay,
has nothing to do with the city.
okay.
You're the second one that's asked me about that.
Oh, really?
It's like councilman.
Oh, well, I heard it from a, I was not interested in how it was from who lived in the area, apparently people not say that. So, but that makes more sense. And then she blame off on this. I was like, I never heard of it having to do with anything like that. I know, like, how far are you from a fire plug? The city doesn't rate it, the city puts fire plugs in them, you know?
Yeah.
That's about it.
How much pressure is that close?
Right, yeah, I'm down with that, but I was like, I had never heard of anything like that. Okay. Tell me to shop somewhere else, but not us. That's my question of the night, I'm done.
Somebody want one question? That's pretty